It's been 1 year since the launch of Heroes of the Storm, the widely popular MOBA developed by Blizzard Entertainment for PC. The game currently has an ever-growing fan base that has grown over the past year. With a whole year to improve the game, what has been added?
Heroes of the Storm gameplay is highly similar to that of other MOBAs such as League of Legends, but with a few differences. It revolves around 5v5 matches with the option of 3 different game modes including versus AI, quick match and ranks. There are currently 10 maps released for HOTS. These are Towers of Doom, Infernal Shrines, Battlefield Eternity, Tomb of Spider Queen, Sky Temple, Garden of Terror, Blackheart's Bay, Dragon Shrine and Cursed Hollow. Towers of Doom and Infernal Shrines and Battlefield Eternity were all added post-launch, with the Infernal Shrines and Battlefield Eternity being added in the Eternal Conflict update. Towers of Doom is the newest map to be added since launch, offering a unique style to the map alone. On Towers of Doom, players cannot attack the core and instead must capture ultis to fire shots at the core to take it down to 0. Each core has 40 health and each tower equals to 1 shot.
Warriors in Heroes of the Storm are the frontline soldiers focusing in either disrupting or pure interference. Heroes like Joanna and Sonya focus on getting neck deep in the fight, cutting swaths through their enemies with abilities that are based around being able to hit multiple enemies and keeping as close as possible using slows and jumps, whilst heroes like Chen and Dahaka focus on getting in the fight to draw attention, being able to somewhat sustain themselves and using self-heals and stasis moves. There is one unique hero, however, that works effectively at both being a warrior and an assassin. Cho'Gall is a 2-player hero where one half, Cho, is controlled by one player focusing on the warrior abilities and movement, whilst the other half, Gal, focuses on the main damage from his assassin build. This helps when the players are organised, as it takes at least 2 or 3 people alone to take the hero down, whilst it also means the team has less heroes in less places. Assassins are the hit and run heroes, with a mix of both melee and ranged heroes, either relying on diving from the shadows to slit their opponent's throats or snipe them from a range. Heroes like Valor focus heavily on peppering her foes full of arrows with basic attacks and area of effect abilities. Li Ming focusing on skill shot abilities and being able to get cooldowns instantly on killing a hero, whilst other assassins such as Thrall and Butcher focus on getting in the fight and somewhat sustaining themselves, Butcher being a very tanky melee assassin with some personal heals. The most unique assassin, however, is Greymane, a hybrid of range and melee, being able to shift between human and a werewolf form, gaining different ability sets whilst changing between them, being a much more reserved, careful fighter in ranged form, and being a much more aggressive, close contact fighter in melee form. Support heroes are, in general, the backline fighters focusing on keeping their allies in the fight rather than joining it themselves. Some that stick to this trend are Lieutenant Morales and Lili, focusing on abilities that sustain their team and keep threats away from themselves. Heroes that veer from this path, however, are supports, such as Karazhan and Rhaegar, focusing on keeping themselves and allies up, but being able to dive in and deal a large amount of damage to the other team. Specialists are the heroes that veer from the path of basic damage dealers, supports, or tanks, typically by having something about them that is special or having abilities that focus on changing the battlefield. One type of specialist are the siege specialists, those primarily being Azmodan and Sergeant Hammer, who can sit out of the range of towers and deal damage to them without being attacked by the towers. Another type of specialists are those such as Abathur and the Lost Vikings, which are all about micromanagement and to a certain extent being able to play the game like a small RTS instead of a MOBA.
Over the course of the year, Blizzard have made several improvements to the UI and menu. The UI receive a minor improvement compared to all the other graphical features, with damage numbers being made further bolder and increased the colour border around them. The improvement has made this more clear to players and how much damage they are taking or dealing during fights. Additionally, when players die, this game displays who killed them. This screen shows a portrait of the hero that killed them, what ability they used to kill them, and how much damage. Several of the heroes that were released by showing the Heroes Plus launch had already included their own custom graphics, where the hero released at launch still had the same as other heroes. The biggest change from launch were in the game before release. They received no hole in their graphics for their abilities to match their character themes. Heroes Plus launch had already included this graphic, whereas heroes at release had similar to other heroes. For example, Illidan and ECT shared a similar graphic on their abilities. The biggest change from launch, though, is the complete overhaul of the game's main menu. The main menu screen has changed to be more streamlined, with the addition of also new modes being added along the bar. The features also such as clocks that allow you to tell your time has been made for quality of life improvements, and small menus such as mount, skins, tabs have become larger, with all the mounts being at the same angle rather at different directions and have the same sort of feel.
Which is your favourite hero? My favourite hero is Greymane. He's a melee and range assassin, the only one in the game to actually perform like this. Greymane works by alternating between 2 forms, his human and his walking form, and depending on which one you use depends on how your hero plays. If he's in his human form, you have 3 abilities. Both of them work off range, whereas your W is the same for both Warwind and Human. Your first ability is a ranged attack, which acts like a little grenade and will have splash damage to people behind the hit target. And the second attack is called Dark Light, which is a slight charge. This will turn you into your Worgen form, which allows you to use your melee attack instead, which is just a cleave in front of you.
From this, would you say Assassin is your favourite class?
Yes, I say Assassin is my favourite class. They have enough damage potential to sort of sustain themselves and not rely on their teammates. And in team fights, they have to dish out large amounts of damage. While having lesser health than a warrior, they can deal much more damage in a short period, which can turn fighters on team fights.
Okay. What class or hero would you recommend to new players?
For new players, I recommend Lily. She's a support hero and is very easy to play, with her W being also a lock-on attack, which heals the lowest target near to her. She relies mostly on her trait, which allows her to sprint around the battlefield when she takes damage, which means for new players who are trying to get out of a team fight and not die, this trait will save them a lot of times.
Okay. And from Heroes of the Storm Year 1, which is your favourite map?
My favourite map is Garden Terror. This map alternates between a night and day mode, and during the night period they spawn 2 bosses at 2 set locations, which is symmetrical on either side of the map. The heroes need to destroy these mini bosses to gain the seeds that they drop. The more damage they do to it, the more seeds they drop before it eventually dies, dropping a large amount in total. Once you reach 100 seeds, you get to pilot a mini boss of your own called the Terror. This is able to stun forts, stopping them from firing, and deals a large amount of damage to minion waves and the fort themselves. So, in Heroes of the Storm, what is your favourite hero?
My favourite hero is Gazlo. He's a goblin from World of Warcraft, and he's a melee specialist class in the game. He has very good abilities, which include his main ones are turrets, and they're pretty useful because they do a lot of work for you. And he has 2 very powerful abilities, one which stuns and one which charged up does a lot of damage.
Why is Specialist your favourite class?
Specialist is my favourite class because of the very specialised roles they take within the game, and they're very good for pushing objectives and that style of game I like to play.
What would you recommend for new players starting out in Heroes of the Storm?
I would recommend a warrior class character like ETC, who is got a lot of health, can heal himself, and has some pretty decent, easy to use abilities.
From Heroes of the Storm Year 1, what would you say would have been your favourite map?
I'd say my favourite map is Battle for Eternity. Its main objective is to let all the other ones to destroy the enemy base, but in order to do that, you have 2 immortals, one of which is yours, and when you kill the other, it allows your one to go in and do a lot of damage to the enemy base.